Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Samantha. Thank you so much for joining me. So if you're someone who is struggling with poor hair growth, or you've actually developed bald patches and you want to regrow your hair, today I've got a recipe that's going to work for you. So today I'm going to show you how to make a really powerful hair growth and regrowth oil. But before we get into it, I just want to give my subscribers a massive thank you. And if you're watching this video and you have not yet subscribed, then please do subscribe and also give the video a thumbs up. So our first ingredient, we're going to be using cloves. I'm using whole cloves, but if you've got clove powder, you can use that for this recipe. So cloves have the amazing ability to stimulate scalp circulation. They also contain a chemical called eugenol, which can help to stimulate hair growth. And in addition to all of that, they have antibacterial and antifungal properties, and therefore they can treat dandruff, which often causes poor hair growth and other scalp issues. Our next ingredient is rosemary. I'm using dried rosemary, and if you've got fresh rosemary, I advise you to dry it first because we don't want any moisture in our oil, because that would just make it go off quickly. So rosemary also stimulates scalp circulation. It has healing and soothing properties, and therefore helps to treat dandruff and soothe an irritated scalp. And rosemary has actually been shown through science to be just as effective as minoxidil, so it can help hair to grow back in bald patches. And then we're also going to be using coffee. So for this recipe, you do need ground coffee. Instant coffee is not going to work for this recipe, so you can use any brand and any size of grain. I'm using espresso, which is finely ground, but as long as it's ground coffee, it's fine. It doesn't have to be this brand, and it doesn't have to be espresso. And we're also going to be using mustard seeds. So I'm introducing mustard seeds for the first time to this channel. However, mustard seeds and mustard oil have been used for hair growth for centuries. Now, it's not going to be the same as mustard, like the Dijon or English mustard that you get at the shops, because when you're making that mustard, it's mixed with salt and vinegar and other ingredients which you don't want to put on your scalp. So you do need mustard seeds or just plain mustard oil, and mustard seeds will help to stimulate scalp circulation intensely, and they work along the same lines as things like curry leaves, Cajun spice, and pepper, which can really help to stimulate scalp circulation and delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the hair follicles, and therefore help to boost hair growth. So if you've got a recipe that calls for things like curry leaves, like the one that I showed you recently, and you don't have curry leaves but you've got mustard seeds, you can use mustard seeds instead, because they will work exactly the same way. And then we're going to need a penetrating oil. I'm using grapeseed oil, but if you don't have grapeseed oil, you can use any other penetrating oil of your choice, one that your hair likes. And examples include things like olive oil, almond oil, sunflower oil, and coconut oil. However, if you're going to use coconut oil, then it might be better to use fractionated coconut oil, because that doesn't solidify. But if you've got just plain old coconut oil, you can still use it. So the method is pretty simple. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of each of the dry ingredients into the blending jug. So I'm adding 1 tablespoon of cloves, 1 tablespoon of rosemary, 1 tablespoon of coffee, and 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds. So I'm adding these to the blending jug, and then I'm going to blend them into a fine powder. So my blend is not that powerful. If you've got a really powerful blender, or even better, a coffee grinder, then it's going to make your oil more potent. So the reason I like to blend my dry ingredients into a powder is to help with the infusion process, because what's going to happen is that those particles are going to absorb the oil, and then once they have been saturated with the oil, they start to release the oil, and by doing so, they're releasing all the good chemicals that we need in order to stimulate our hair growth. So after blending, I've now put that into my little jar, which I'm going to use, which is heat resistant, and I'm going to add just 1/2 cup of oil. You can add a little bit more if you want. You just need to make sure that all of the dry ingredients are completely submerged with the oil, and then you just mix it up. close the jar really tightly so that no steam, no moisture is going to get in, and then we're going to warm this up. So I know not everybody likes to warm up the oils. So if you prefer not to use heat, you can just close this up and put it into a cupboard and leave it to infuse for about 4 weeks. That will do the trick. But I like to warm mine first because that just helps the infusion process. It helps those particles to expand, and therefore helps them to absorb the oil, so that you get a really powerful, potent oil in less time. So instead of infusing for 4 weeks, you just infuse this for 2 weeks. So I've just warmed that over low heat for about 5 minutes, and then I'm just going to let it cool down completely. And once it's cooled down, I'm just going to put it into a dark cupboard and leave it there to infuse for 2 weeks. So you need a minimum of 2 weeks to get a really decent growth oil. And from time to time, you just want to shake it up because those powders will settle at the bottom, and by shaking it up, you get a good infusion. So this is what it looks like after infusing for a couple of weeks. And now I'm just going to strain it. Although most of the particles settle at the bottom, you always find some bits floating, particularly when you're using dried rosemary. So I'm just going to decant what I need for this session. I'm going to apply this to my scalp and demonstrate how I'm going to do that, rather than strain all of the oil at one time. However, this is optional. It is a personal preference. If you want to strain all of the oil at one time, that's fine. But I like to decant and then leave the spices or herbs, etc., to continue to infuse as long as I have some of that oil. So it just means that the oil is going to get more potent over time. So used the paper towel there because I wanted to get a clean oil, and this is what I'm left with. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. And if I could describe the smell, it smells absolutely beautiful. I love the smell of cloves, and that combination of cloves and rosemary and the coffee, you get an absolutely beautiful smell. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So this oil is very versatile. You can use it for hot oil treatments. You can use it for scalp massages. You can add some of this to things like shea butter or cocoa butter and make your own hair butter. Or you can actually use this in addition to other oils. So you can mix it into an oil blend with other things if you want to. Now, I know there are some people who are sensitive to caffeine, and if you're one of those people, my advice would be to just leave out the coffee and then use the other 3 ingredients. You'll still have a really, really powerful oil, just so you're not feeling left out. So personally, I prefer to use this oil as a scalp emollient and for scalp massages, and I just apply a small amount to the scalp, making sure that each and every inch of my scalp is covered, and then I just use the balls of my fingers to give myself a nice gentle massage. And the ingredients stimulate scalp circulation, and the massages will also stimulate scalp circulation. So you can imagine, just how fantastic it's going to be. I don't wash this out until my next wash day, whenever that will be. So I just apply it, massage, and then leave it in. But I know some people don't like leaving oil in their hair for too long, and that's fine. If that's you, you can apply it, leave it on maybe overnight, and then wash it out the next morning. It'll still be effective. So basically, the longer you leave it on your scalp, the more beneficial it'll be. But you do what works for you. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. And if you did, again, please give the video a thumbs up. Again, just want to thank my subscribers because your love and support mean the world to me, and I really love and appreciate you. And all my returning subscribers, I love you so much. If you've not subscribed, then hit the subscribe button, subscribe, and also share the videos with people who might be looking for this content. So share the videos on WhatsApp and other social media platforms, and sharing is caring. So I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of the video and also listen to some beautiful relaxing music. And don't forget, if you've got any questions at all, just leave them in the comment section and I will reply. I always reply each and every comment. So until next time, my lovelies, you take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and God bless. Bye for now.